The reliability of German trains is at an all-time low, but don't worry, they're fixing it. The problem is that fixing it might help in the long term, but in the short term it's just going to make matters a whole lot worse. So if you're planning on visiting Germany in 2026, here's what you need to know. The latest figures are, by German standards, awful. In the month of October 2025, 84.2% of trains were punctual, meaning that they arrived less than 6 minutes behind schedule. And before anyone says anything, it is standard practice in many European countries to count trains that are only a few minutes late as being on time. Exactly how this is done varies from country to country, which is one of the reasons why it can be very difficult to compare performances between countries. A lot of you watching this might consider 84.2% to be not particularly bad, but that's not the whole story. That's the figure for all trains, but most of those are local commuter trains that only travel relatively short distances. If you look at long-distance trains only, punctuality is at an all-time low of 51.5%. This means that nearly every second long-distance train in Germany is 6 or more minutes late. And that doesn't even count cancelled trains that don't show up in the statistics at all, although this actually doesn't make a huge impact on the numbers. But there is another statistic that Deutsche Bahn publishes, which is less well known, but much more useful. Passenger punctuality tracks the number of passengers overall who reached their final destination less than 15 minutes late. That figure is currently 57.3%. This means that roughly 2 out of every 5 passengers arrive with a significant delay, or don't arrive at all. Not good. This doesn't affect all trains everywhere equally though. The problems are worst in the very densely populated Ruhr area and in the Cologne and Bonn area, and also Hamburg is particularly bad. These are all areas with very dense and very old networks that struggle to keep up with demand but can't easily be expanded because there's literally no room for expansion. The causes of this unreliability are many in number and very complex, but as I said, efforts are now underway to get things back on track. Back on track? Anyone? A number of different measures are being implemented and some more promised, but nothing is going to improve without a lot of construction work. And that is the part that's going to cause all of those short-term problems, because it means temporarily shutting down whole lines, and that in turn will simply increase all the delays and cancellations. The biggest part of this is the general overhaul, which started last year and is expected to be complete in 2035. This involves shutting down for months at a time some of the most important railway lines in Germany and completely rebuilding them. At the moment, the Berlin to Hamburg line is closed and is expected to reopen in April. Meanwhile, there are 4 lines scheduled for overhaul next year. In the first half of the year, that'll be the line from Hagen to Cologne via Wuppertal and the Nuremberg to Regensburg line. After that, it's the turn of the line from Obertraubling to Passau and the old line on the right bank of the Rhine and all the way to Wiesbaden. Long-distance trains will be diverted onto alternative routes, which means for those alternative routes, more problems with punctuality. I mean, obviously, they haven't been overhauled yet. Local trains will be replaced by buses. Oh, and this isn't all, because in addition to all these big projects, there are countless smaller projects all over the country, all resulting in diversions, delays, and rail replacement buses. For example, near to where I live, there is construction work between Aschaffenburg and Miltenberg, between Hanau and Fulda, and in the Frankfurt area. There is a lot of work to be done, and they're making a start. Since these are planned projects, the altered train times are already in the official timetables. When looking up an itinerary on the Deutsche Bahn website or in the DB Navigator app, any rail replacement buses you need to take will show up like this, sometimes with the designation EV bus. This does not mean it's an electric bus, it's the abbreviation for the German word Ersatzverkehr. To find these rail replacement buses, you need to follow signs that look like this. In some cases, you may see older signs that look like this, or even older signs with SEV or Schienenersatzverkehr. It's all the same thing in the end. Also, you can use the website Zugfinder to get a general idea of how the train you're planning to get has performed in the last month. Simply enter in the train number and find out how much you need to worry. Now, this isn't an endorsement. I haven't been paid to say this, but I have put a link in the description. But apart from that, good luck. You're gonna need it. And before you go, just in case your train is delayed, down there is a link to a video that explains what your rights are.